Broadcast news was required viewing in my graduate level broadcast news class. We all sat around a table at USC and watched it. It obviously made some sort of an impression because now it's my life, so.
It's on the short list of quintessential movies about American broadcast journalism for certain.
The best movie ever made about journalism, is about terrible journalism, is Citizen Kane. I mean, it's just, you can't top that.
Network.
I had decided to kill myself.
All the President's Men.
The Paper, I mean, that's like my favorite movie.
Hey, a clipboard and a confident wave will get you into any building in the world.
Clipboard, confident wave. Like, I probably say that phrase like once a week.
Hi, how are you?
Broadcast news, it's very specifically about television journalism. It's sort of a different thing.
Brooks set out to make a romantic comedy. He didn't set out to make a social commentary on journalism, which is, I think, why the movie works and still holds up as well as it does. It's not heavy-handed.
It's incredible.
And you know, the whole idea of like a female journalist, that kind of character trope started with the screwball comedies.
What do you want?
Your ex-wife is here. Do you want to see her?
And it's a perfect thing for a screwball comedy because, you know, those play with gender dynamics, power, and, you know, you have a character who can assert themselves into something, and that's a female journalist, that she gets paid to do that, and so that works for a screwball comedy. But the thing is that we've just perpetuated that.
Hello, Ruth. Hello, Maisie.
His Girl Friday. That's still one of the best portrayals that we have of a female journalist, which is so sad. She's one of the few where, you know, she doesn't sleep with a source, you know? I mean, even in Trainwreck or Woody Allen's Scoop.
I mean, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then when I think about it, it's like, oh man, April O'Neil, she wasn't a bad chick. She got it. I was like, you go ahead, girl, get that story.
Would you mind repeating it?
Well, I have Jane's job. Jane and I are both television producers. We both go out in the field and make sure that interviews are conducted and brought back to the bureau and make air and put on television. She's a total ball buster.
Do it, or I'll fry your fat asses still.
Some of that I think is great. Some of it scares me a little bit. I'm like, I hope I'm not like that.
Please, Bobby, we're pushing.
Girl, you know, really like trying to be just such a super hard worker and trying to compete with the guys. So I worked with a lot of old white guys. I call them suits. I'm used to them underestimating me because I'm looking like this.
When I was trying to get on the foreign desk of NPR, I was told indirectly, don't have kids, because, you know, you can't be a foreign correspondent and have kids. He doesn't really like that. So when I was pregnant in Saudi Arabia, I kept the existence of my child a secret until I was offered a job.
As a woman in the industry, Holly Hunter crying scenes were tough for me. Because I was actually one of the first, not the first, but one of the first women first ADs. I became a first AD in 1980. It was a man's business. We had to behave a certain way, and the crying scenes actually made me uncomfortable. If I cried on the set, I would have not done very well in my career. What can I say?
This doesn't really operate like any romantic comedy that I can think of. Holly Hunter, she's not a very sexual person, but when she's in this newsroom, she's in her own environment, you know, she's using like this little microphone, this little earpiece is kind of like her way into, you know, these desires that she has. This is like the weird, you know, entryway into sex for her.
So it was like great sex.
In part because of the hours you keep, there are a lot of relationships that happen because those are the people you see most of the time.
I walked into the office on my first day of work. It was being shown the newsroom, and across the UPI wire machine, I saw this gorgeous man and went, oh, darn. And then we started dating and dated for 4 years and then got married.
You know, what anchors do, and I don't want to say this in a negative way, but there is there is an acting element to it.
People who knew me well would watch me anchoring and say, that's not you. You're so serious. serious on television. And I'm like, well, I'm talking about missile strikes. I'm not going to be laughing.
You play a role in society. As an anchor, I'm like your waiter. I'm just like serving you up. Here's the stuff. It's like when I don't need to be like, this sucks, don't eat it.
It's completely conceived like theater. I mean, there's a set. There's a great moment where people present new theme music for the news.
Big finish!
The dumb anchor paradigm was set up by Jim Brooks and Mary Tyler Moore's show.
My comprehensive analysis will begin at 7:30.
That Ted Baxter character crystallized something that everyone sort of knew but never said out loud, that, you know, you had this anchor who looked the part, who literally did not know what day it was.
When she got home, she found she had the wrong dog.
The people you see on camera don't necessarily have anything to do with gathering the news.
You don't want to look shifty, do you?
No.
They're chosen often for other reasons that have to do with the star power, their telegenic ability.
Thinking about that scene about him kind of manufacturing a tear, I was like, that's not even that bad. That's fine.
Producers and journalists use cutaways that aren't occurring in real time.
The whole story hinges on whether or not he was, you know, crying in the moment. And it just made me realize how far away from our journalistic ethics we have gone. We don't know what's real anymore.
One bad actor taints the whole business. One partisan thing, one time when you take money for something, one time when you fake something, you call into question this entire profession that is already in crisis. I think it's time to kind of take sides and say, like, you're down with the rule book.
You could get fired for things like that.
I got promoted for things like that.
It's not reality television, I think, is like the nut graph there. Like, news has to be separate from entertainment television. You're not creating a storyline of your own desires. So as much as you might want them to put on the boots, you can't tell them to put on the boots.
It's not just simply the lie of objectivity. It's the almost unattainable goal of objectivity. But if you're at least trying, you get closer to that. And one of the things that emerges from that is more fairness.
You totally crossed the line between what is ethical and what is
They
garbage.
keep moving a little sucker, don't they?
I'm a super skeptical person anyway, because I get the unfiltered stuff in Master Control and then see what, you know, is let out to people. So I'm like super skeptical of, you know, whatever anyone tells me. I usually don't trust most of anything, not even my child. I'm like, is that the truth?
And I want to know that my newsroom that's giving me my information is ethical. So of course I'm going to gravitate towards a character like Holly Hunter, because that makes me feel better about the fact that after I left the movie theater when watching broadcast news, I went home and watched news, and I felt better that there was someone like her in the booth.
Okay, we're going to George.
To me, it feels very deliberate that William Hurt doesn't get the girl, because that's like a value judgment. Like, the dumb, vapid guy who's got some redeeming qualities still doesn't deserve to get the girl because he's actually the devil. She's the smartest person in the room, and she keeps getting promoted. And by the end, you know, she's the managing editor of this major network, and that's a happy ending.